Going live in 3, 2, 1. Is anybody there? Can you hear us? Welcome to our living room for once. I don't think we've ever filmed in here, so there's a reason for that. Behind here is not as pretty as back there.
It's very snowy today, though.
Yeah. Hop on in the chat and let us know if you can hear us. We've never used our computer, so hopefully we have audio and all that good stuff. Let's see. Alyssa is editing here.
No, I'm trying to find the questions from earlier.
Yay, people hear us. Okay, good. All right, let's jump into some questions that we have from the comments, and then you guys can ask questions in the live here, and I'll kind of keep an eye on it.
Yeah, so I did a poll earlier asking what you guys want to talk about, and 5% said YouTube filming and camera gear, 43% said property, ranch life, and big decisions, and 52% said Mustang, Mules, and training journey. So hopefully all of you that voted for the later two are prepared with questions. So
yeah.
But I do have a couple questions from earlier.
Can you hear Alyssa? I talk way louder than Alyssa.
Yeah, I talk quiet. Looks like everyone can hear me.
Man, thanks for jumping in the chat, guys. It's blowing up.
Yeah, it's awesome.
All right, let's start with a question.
So we got, do the properties you are all looking at have living quarters and a house? Most of them, yeah, but it's a very tiny house. Some of them, no. We have that living quarters trailer now, so we would be totally fine living in that for a while. Well, we got something built, so that's also an option, and it might let us buy a little more property. The place we just went and looked at did have a house. It was very small, but that's perfect because there's only 2 of us and a couple dogs, so, and maybe a house donkey.
When
you saw him, he nodded.
Concrete floor, that was not a commitment. But I was just thinking, whenever we look at properties, to kind of add on to that, what we always do is we go on Zillow or whatever, and then we go through the pictures backwards, because usually the listings show all the pictures of the house first and then the outside at the end. So we're like, don't care about the house. Let's just look at the...
Don't care about the house. What's the property look like?
Pastures, barns, how many acres. Honestly, probably our ideal property would be something that had like a big shop with power and no home on it, so that we could get the absolute most good property for our money, and we could just park the living quarters in there and kind of build as we go. I'm dead serious. That would be perfect, because we're all about the land and a good setup for the equines, and like what we live in comes like way down the list of priorities. So that was a good question though that someone asked.
When we were paying off our debt, I tried to convince Jason to move into a wall tent on like public land. You have to move your house every like 14 days. And I was like, that'd be totally fine. We can just join a gym. We'll just go take showers there. It'll be great. We didn't go for that, but hey, I thought it would have been a good way to save money.
Desperate times call for desperate measures.
Still sounds great to me.
What else we got here? We don't have no.
If you guys have questions, feel free to ask. Someone wanted to know, they said, your videos are so cinematic. I'd love to hear not only about your gear, but also what goes into the way you tell your stories. So the gear we use is a mixture of things. We have 2 Sony cameras. We have a A7 IV, and then we also have an FX3. That one has the big, giant long lens on it right now. So
this is an A7 IV with the long lens.
Yeah, we have a couple different cameras. These are our high-end cameras. And we have several different lenses that we use on those. We use our cell phones here and there on 4K, 60 frames per second. And then we use what's called an Osmo, which is kind of like a GoPro, but made by DJI. And then we also have a DJI drone that we use. So yeah, that's the main things we use. But if you don't have all this fancy camera gear, because you certainly don't need it, we like taking pictures too, so that's what we use those for as well. But you can just use your phone. Like, start simple, use your phone. And what goes into the way we tell our stories, I don't really know. Like, I should have a better idea of what I want to tell story-wise before I start editing, but a lot of times I just end up telling the story as I'm editing, and it's just kind of whatever happens, and that's how we go about it. We're not very good at like planning out a story ahead of time, so probably should get better at that. But
we have a question coming in here.
Yeah.
So one person says, do you have snow? And the answer is yes. We got
Yes.
like 4 inches today, which is actually a very good thing.
It's been snowing all day.
Then we have from Cray, is your current property for sale and will you have equity? And it is not for sale yet, but we will sell it and we should have a decent amount of equity.
Yep.
We've put in some effort to fix it up and set it up as a pretty legitimate horse property. So that'll help for the right buyer.
Yep. So what we're looking for as far as a property goes is kind of another stair step. So when we paid off all of our debt, we bought like the lowest priced house in a very high end neighborhood, and we put a ton of sweat equity into it. We lived there right at about 2 years, and then we sold it. So we were able to sell that for a profit. We moved here. When we moved here, we did the same thing. We bought like one of the cheapest houses in the area, and we've been working on fixing it up. We have some really big projects this spring that we need to do to the actual house itself, and then we'll sell it. We had hoped to stay here about 2 to 5 years, closer to the 2, and we've been here a little over 3 years now. So we are ready to move to a bigger place. And when we do go to a bigger place, it kind of depends on the property. Like the property we went and looked at the other day, something like that has got to be on the lower end because we need to be able to make the monthly payments low enough for us that we can cash flow all the fix-ups. So we need some wiggle room in our budget. If we were to buy something that would be more like a forever property, like a dream property for us, we'd be willing to spend more money and make those monthly payments a little higher just because we plan to stay there a lot longer than 2 to 5 years. So
we're at a weird kind of turning point where we would love to, it would be awesome if we could make our next purchase our forever home because we love doing things like planting fruit trees, and it'd be great to set up a like really nice arena, and then it would be hard to sell once you set those things up. But realistically, we were talking about it this morning on our way to the gym. There's probably going to be at least one more property between where we are now and our forever home. I mean, Lord willing, anything can happen. And, you know, we've been blessed so much already. We're not going to be turning down any blessings that come our way. But realistically, we'll probably buy one more property that's a little bigger and probably a little nicer than this one, fix that up, and then probably buy our forever property is what we're hoping for. So I have 2 more questions here. Someone mentioned if we knew that the clever cowgirl had lost a horse, and the answer is yes, and we feel for her big time. Both of us have been around that, and it's a really hard thing to go through. And Alyssa and Cece actually emailed back and forth a little bit, and so Alyssa reached out via email just to tell her that our hearts are with her. So then the next question, yeah, it's super tough. Next question, someone asked if we taught ourselves to edit. So I'll turn that one over to you because we all know I can't edit worth the darn.
Yes, 100%. So 100% we're teaching ourselves, and also Jason can't edit. No, I'm just kidding. He's learning though. He is learning. So he does most of our shorts. So if you watch our shorts, like the short form videos, the little vertical short form videos, that's mostly Jason.
They could probably tell, let's be honest.
And then all of our long form videos are mine, except for a couple. He's done like the Zonky one. That was Jason's.
Don't watch it. I'm leaving it up there, but it's super embarrassing. I'm dead serious. Please don't watch it. I'm leaving it up there so that for people in the future, when our channel is doing really good, they can be encouraged by how poor quality video we put out at the start. Man. But that's the only reason it's not private.
We rewatch some of our old videos, and like everyone tells you this when you're starting a YouTube channel, they're like, your first videos are gonna suck, and then you edit them and you're like so proud of them, and you put them up there, and then you rewatch them. Like it's been 2 years or so since we started, and man, we went back and watched them, and I was like, wow, yep, we could do a lot better now. So
I was never proud of that one. I wanted to delete it immediately when I made it. So
but yeah, so we taught ourselves how to edit. We jumped into YouTube head first, knew nothing about cameras. We didn't even have a camera. Like had never done YouTube, had never edited videos, and jumped in head first. So there was a lot to learn, and thank goodness YouTube has videos on how to make YouTube videos, because that was how we learned. There's a podcast. They also have a YouTube channel called Think Media, and we really like them. They have been really helpful. So they're pretty awesome. They're also Christian based, which is really nice as well. So that's a great place to go to just learn some info. We've never taken any of their courses or anything like that, but they do have those available. So
this is a good question, and I don't want to set Alyssa off on the 20% weight rule, but someone says, I am approximately 245 pounds. Could most mules serve as a mount for me? And that is a really good question. I'll start. Right now, I weigh 220 pounds, which is about 20 pounds over where I should be. But so I weigh 220, and obviously I still ride. And my mule, Riata, is not a big mule. But if you work with the animal, it obviously makes it easier than carrying like 220 pounds of dead weight. But that being said, a big reason why we got Mesa, the draft cross filly that is our up and comer, is because she's going to be big and stout, and it'll be no problem for her to pack me, even if I had like a backpack on or something like that. So I guess the short answer to Christy is yes, a good stout, healthy mule could absolutely pack 245 pounds, no matter what the internet haters say. So, I mean, within reason, I don't assume you're going to be riding for 12 hours or anything like that. But yeah, the answer is yes, you can still ride if you weigh 240. So
yeah, they make all kinds of like draft cross mules and stuff, and that would be a great option. Like those are big, stocky mules, and so that'd be a great option. We don't like to get much over that 20% rule if we can help it, and most of the time we're under that. But you know, every once in a while for short distances, it's totally fine.
Don't come around here fat shaming me, people.
Yeah, people do that all the time, actually. It hurts Jason's feelings.
Don't bring that nonsense over here. All right, let's see. What else we got? I probably missed some. Scott says, do you still do taxidermy, Alyssa?
I am almost done,
Woo!
Which I'm really thankful for. So probably a lot of you don't know, but for the last 10 years, that has been my full-time job. So that's what I did before we started YouTube. It has let us have the flexibility that we have and let us start a YouTube. So I'm thankful for it. I like all the art aspects of it. However, this last year, I have had 3 full-time jobs. I took in a full year's worth of taxidermy before Ty offered us a job. So then we said yes to Ty. So we've been doing all of Ty's social media. And then our YouTube has turned into a very full-time job. So this last year, we have had 3 full-time jobs, and it has been a lot. On top of adopting a Mustang, which we adopted right before we found out that Ty was going to hire us. So yeah, it's like trying to fit in all the equines and everything else, and there's not a whole lot of balance. But
yeah, it's been a very scattered year. We spent a lot of time this summer like going different directions, and I was reading comments, so hopefully I'm not repeating anything you said, but it's been a busy year. It's been a great year and a fun year, and we love working with Ty. But that being said, it has been a busy one.
Crazy, so she can tell if I'm tired from my narrative.
And yeah, for voiceovers
goes right along the lines of we've had 3 full-time jobs. So there's a lot of times that I'm up until 11 or midnight editing.
Yeah.
So
well, and the other thing, here's a glimpse behind the curtain for you guys, is if I'm in the house, Alyssa gets stage fright for doing voiceovers. So I have to go work in our horse trailer now
I have to go work in the horse trailer.
Yeah. So maybe if it sounds like kind of quiet and timid, maybe I'm just in the other room and she has stage fright.
Yeah. Speaking publicly is not my thing, which is weird because like lives and talking to the camera, I'm fine with, as long as there's not a crowd. Like if I could see your faces, I wouldn't be able to be talking right now. So
no. Here's a good question. What are the main warning signs of a grumpy mule?
Of a grumpy mule? Well, I mean, their ears back, just not wanting to move. Their little nostrils usually give it away. They're pretty good.
If they're nervous.
Yeah.
Their tails too can be.
Yeah.
Switching.
Yep.
A lot of times mules are different than horses. They'll switch their tails if they're thinking. Yeah. But it also can be if they're swishing their tail back and forth, you might want to just watch out. Don't be going right behind them. Let's see. Do you have any plans to get any more mules to work with, or are the plans to continue to look for more Mustangs? Really enjoy the content that's been posted lately. Thank you.
Yeah, we would love to get more mules. I would love to get more everything. Mammoth donkey, mules, Mustangs. Yeah, I feel like mules have a way of finding us, and we've actually turned down a few lately that were like, "Hey, here's a good deal. Take this mule," just because we have to be, realistic with our time and our space and all of that. And so we did turn those ones down, but we get offered mules all the time, and I'm sure that will continue as we travel along with Ty as well. But yeah, I would love to get maybe some mules from like the loose sale at the auction. To be careful they don't have like major health issues. I don't love the idea of getting one just to have to put it down, but from something that someone else should have done. But as long as they seem healthy and stuff, it's like mules that have issues. We'd like to help those ones out once we get the space and the time to do so.
I absolutely love the mules. There's definitely like seriously something special about mules. Their personalities are very dog-like. They're friendly and they have big personalities. It's like very noticeable.
Yeah.
Like Riata is very timid and then also very goofy. And we won't go into all of them, but the personality of the mules is super enjoyable. So yes, we definitely want more mules. And I would love to work with the Mustang too one day. So that's on the list. Let's see. I saw another question here.
Yeah, Scott asked,
Oh my
for
goodness.
your forever property, how many acres do you foresee that being? We'd like it to be over 100. Like that,
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, forever property. Okay, not the next one.
No, the
next one. Yeah.
Hopefully like 20-ish would be great.
Yeah.
Or more. But yeah, our forever property definitely would like it to be over 100. That would be the goal.
Yeah, that would be awesome. With either really good water rights or I mean with really good pasture, like native pasture, or with some water rights would be fantastic for the forever property, as well as some topography. Like we love the hills, we love the mountains. I know that's kind of asking a lot. 100 acres with irrigation and some mountains and probably a creek. Is that too much to ask? I don't know. Let's see. Do you prefer a standard jack or a mammoth bred mule?
I don't know that many people that breed to a standard jack. Most all riding mules are from a mammoth jack. So all of ours are from a mammoth jack.
Do they have gated ones that aren't mammoth? Because a lot of people like a gated jack.
Maybe.
I don't know much about that, but we're not really gated people, but a lot of people are.
But yeah, mammoth bred because they're just bigger.
Oh, someone says, Meg says, would love to see you adopt and train a wild burro.
I would love that. There was that little mule saying, you guys probably saw it on our video when we went and picked up Rooster, but there was a little Mustang mule. Oh my gosh. It would never be big enough to ride. It's going to be like 12, 13 hands max. But it was the cutest little thing. I wanted it so bad.
Let's see. Cray says, are there date nights or weekends together? Yeah, our date night was going to Burns.
Yeah.
That was actually kind of fun. We got to go stay in a motel and go look at the Mustangs. But that's actually a good question. And something we need to prioritize is more like personal time. We can, with this job and our job for Ty, there's no end. There's no clocking out. It's just like you can work as much as you want. And that's proving to be kind of a challenge, is there's no way to clock out.
I don't even know like the last time we took a day off, probably when we went to Burns, but like other than that, and that was like driving all the way to look at the Mustangs, and we drove out and looked at that property, and yeah, it was like that was like our day off, was spending all day
driving.
We don't really take days off. There's always something that we're doing. So
yeah,
date nights, no, not really, but we're with each other all the time. So
yeah,
it's just a constant date,
Life is a constant date night. tomorrow we kind of have a day off. We're setting aside time to actually go for a ride tomorrow,
Yeah.
even though it's going to be snowy and icy. We're like, we got to go out and ride.
Yeah.
So before I forget, this question's been asked twice. How is Taz doing?
He's doing good. He's just gaining weight, chilling.
Getting chunky.
Yeah, he's a little on the skinnier side, and so I wanted him to gain some weight before we used him too much. So, but he's doing good. I pulled his shoes yesterday. I think that'll help him anyway. So
yeah. Let's see. Can you do a collab with the Clever Cowgirl someday? We hope to do a handful of collabs. We would love to do a collab with Brett Vaughn, our buddy down in New Mexico, who we've never met. He's our buddy we've never met because we talk to him on YouTube a lot, and he's awesome. Same thing with if we could meet Cece, that would be awesome, and see her place and meet her horses and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now she's so far away.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyways, we would love that. Someone asked, okay. Well, I missed it. Oh, what gear do you like to film with? So, Meg, we talked a little bit. We use Sony FX3 and Sony A7 IV. That was probably before you got on. We have Rode shotgun mics. I edit with CapCut, and Alyssa edits with Final Cut.
Yeah,
what the pros use. So yeah, and Meg, you can reach out via email if you have any questions. So everyone on here, this lady, Meg Zira, says she's launching her own channel, I think next week. And I don't know what it's about or anything, but you should check it out when she launches that. She said she's been doing a ton of research. So yeah, Meg, reach out and email us anything we can help with. Leave a comment. Sometimes we don't get to all our emails. Get a little behind, but reach out. We'd love to help however we can. So, are you kicking out more calendars? Someone says.
Not this year. So because it was our first year doing calendars, we actually took pre-order. So everyone had to order them ahead of time. I then knew how many we sold, and I was able to order them, print off that many, and plus a few extras, but we've given those away. So yeah. That's what we did this year. I only printed off as many as we had sold in that like allotted time. And then that was it. So next year we might do it a little bit differently, but it was kind of a last minute thing that I'd always wanted to do. And I was like, you know what, I'm doing it. So that's the way we did it this year. It was a little disorganized, I think. But
it was a fun project though.
It was.
And I think we're excited to do it again.
We packaged all 200 plus on our counter and sent them all out. And so it was great.
That was a little
long day.
Overwhelming. Someone says, I got my calendar and love it.
Awesome.
Also, we have what did you have for dinner? Well, here in Idaho, it's 6:30. So we actually haven't had dinner yet. I had a cheese quesadilla to tide me over. Alyssa hasn't had anything, but we're having elk burgers for dinner. We have thawed out in the fridge right over there, elk burgers from Utah. So probably barbecue elk burger for dinner tonight. I saw another question here. How do you start your life with horses and mules if you were to start? That's a great question. Any tips? I want to officially start the journey. Graceful strokes. So congratulations. It's an awesome journey. And strap in because they can really like work their way into your heart and kind of take over in a good way. So
next thing you know, you got a pasture full of them.
Yeah.
And you want more.
Yeah. You can take that one, Alyssa.
Well, I mean, gosh. The first thing I think, I don't know if you have your own place or not. If you don't have your own property, is finding some place around to keep a horse. They might do lessons, and that might be a good way. You could also try leasing a horse for a little while. But if you want to dive right in, find a place to board a horse, or if you have your own property, that's awesome. And then I would just be really careful. Save up more money, buy a better horse to start with, even if they're more expensive. Just get one that's nice and safe and is going to be fun for you, because it's hard enough learning how to ride and what to do with horses, and you don't need one that's like a total project. So anyway, just either find a good mentor or someone that's knowledgeable that can go with you. Make sure you do vet checks, because a lot of people, unfortunately, are dishonest about age and if they're sound and all that stuff. So it's great to have a good vet, check them over, so you know you're getting a good one.
I'll add just a teeny bit because I had a weird start to horses. I got my first horse after college, and I boarded her at a facility in Lewiston, Idaho. And that was actually a godsend for me because the folks that owned the boarding facility, Don and Carolyn were their name, and they're awesome people. They're probably gone now, but anyway, they were good horse people and they provided guidance. It was a good old broke horse, like 10-year-old broke horse, but still, I didn't know what I was doing at all, like as far as gear or how to ride, any of that stuff. And so they were a really good resource for me, help keep me safe, help keep my horse like somewhat comfortable, even though poor thing was stuck with me. So yeah, if you're boarding, it's a little bit expensive, but if you find the right place, it can actually be a great resource, like not only for the facilities, but also for, getting tips and stuff from.
Wasn't she Ray Hunt's granddaughter?
No, that was someone different.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was someone different. Let's see. I saw another question here. Any state that you prefer or absolute no ways? So let me clear the air here for a second because I made fun of California on a video once and people who got their feelings hurt. So actually, the reason we have Rooster is because of two awesome people in California. So
and I have family in California.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, there's a lot of cool buckaroo country.
Yeah,
However,
and Bishop Mule Days is in
Yeah.
California. So Scott and Shanna, first off, shout out. Thank you
Yeah,
guys so
they're
much for
awesome.
Rooster. That's one of the biggest
they
blessings
have
in our
helped us
life.
a ton. I'm always
So
grateful.
there's a lot of really good people in California. So I made that flippant comment the other day on a video, and yeah, it was a long time ago, but people didn't appreciate it. But to
all
answer,
that to say, we would not move to California.
no. I mean, there's certain states that are more friendly to, our kind of people. And like we hunt and we ride mules and we like mountains. And so there's states that are a good fit and there's states that are not a good fit for that kind of person. So like our top lists are like our top two are Idaho and Wyoming for sure. Like that's like we love it here in Idaho. Wyoming is super cool. Like no state income tax, low property tax, stuff like that. That being said, we have family in Oregon, which is about as close as you can get to California, and so we've looked in Oregon too.
On that eastern side.
Yeah, Eastern Oregon for sure. Cool country over there.
Montana.
So good.
Consider.
Yeah, there's a lot that we'd consider. But yeah, great question. We do want to stay out west for sure. So anybody has a ranch, let us know. We're good caretakers.
Yeah.
Oh, here's one that we get all the time. And it's kind of silly. So it's not a silly question, but the answer is silly. How did you meet?
Yeah.
So
how did we meet?
Instagram.
Yeah. Jason sent me a message.
Yeah,
but
so
he wasn't creepy.
No.
And he also gave me his phone number. He didn't ask for mine, so that was a pretty good move.
Yeah. So it was Instagram, and sent Alyssa a message, and then we kind of hit it off talking on there. And I was like, hey, if you ever want to call, like, here's my number. And so eventually she called, and I remember I was in an apartment in Ellensburg, Washington. I was a corrections officer at a jail over there, and a tiny little 1-bedroom apartment. And I remember sitting on a cooler in there because I didn't have any furniture and talking to Alyssa for hours. We would talk about buck brannaman. We'd talk about horses, and I didn't have a horse at the time. I don't think you did either. No. But for some reason, we always ended up talking about horses and buck brannaman and riding and stuff like that, as well as hunting and stuff like that. So then she was in Colorado and I was in Ellensburg, and I did not like working at the jail. It was a really tough job, like mentally.
I was going back to Oregon to hunt elk because I was still an Oregon resident, even though I moved to Colorado. I hadn't lived there very long. So anyway, I went back to Oregon to hunt elk, and he was going to go back and hunt elk with his family as a non-resident. He goes, hey, you want to hunt elk with my family? And his family actually had some mutual friends that I knew. So I was like, okay, well, if they're friends with those people, they can't be too bad. So anyway, we spent 12 days. I just went and set up my little camp by their big camp, and we spent 12 days trying to bow hunt elk. And as any of you know that bow hunt elk, you are very quiet while you're doing that. So we spent 12 days basically not talking. And I remember at one point, Jason's like, so how's this going? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm having fun. And he's like, no, like, how is this going? And it was like we hadn't even talked. And anyway, so Rest is history.
Yeah. Biggest blessing ever, though, in all seriousness. I kind of joke about the Instagram thing, but biggest blessing ever is to find the right spouse. And so that was a huge, huge win. So something to address here real quick. Cray says, why are there ads during your live? So
that's so annoying.
that we work with TS Mules, and they've been doing lives for their 12 days of Christmas like giveaway, and they have ads on their lives, and I think it's a new thing. So we need to look into the settings and try and make sure there's not ads during the live. I think there will be ads if you're watching the live after it's over, but I'm surprised to see that there's ads actually during the live. So you might have missed out on a little bit, and we apologize. We're learning as we go. So someone says, have you checked the OC yet? What would OC mean? Oh, online corral. Yeah. Have you checked the online corral yet? If so, which is your favorite? I'm sure Alyssa's checked.
I looked through them a little bit. I actually didn't see anything that like caught my eye. I am a little bit hesitant to get anything on the online corral because we would rather just drive out and look at all of them that are in a facility, and I can get a better feel for them in person. So that's probably the way we'll adopt them. But there was that really pretty Palomino on there and some other nice looking horses. There was a sorrel. Actually, there was a sorrel with a Floxamina tail years ago before I got Rooster, and I still remember her. She went for like $5,000. I don't know why she went for so much, but I got outbid.
Yeah, Lost Tribe on here says, it always worries me that someone could buy out YouTube and just completely change the format or disincentivize the format and just ruin everything. That is actually a concern of us. And even like more so, like YouTube could just change the algorithm or like have some new rule in place where they don't like people having livestock and they don't like this way of life. And it could be gone like that. So that's something that we do keep in mind, and we try to be conservative, like with our money and our planning, because obviously we don't own the platform. We do save all of our videos. It takes a lot of storage. So if something changed with YouTube, there would likely be something that would pop up for people who like this type of video and this way of life. So,
or we'd go over to Patreon or something, and then unfortunately you'd have to
pivot.
Get a membership, but then you could find us over there.
So yeah, super good point though, Lost Tribe. Let's see, next question. Would you guys be willing to take people in for work or mentor? Good question.
Maybe in the future. We've actually talked about that because like traveling with Ty. So my little brother was living with us this past summer. So he was like here all the time and was feeding the animals and stuff. But I have a girl in town that will come out and stay and take care of stuff for us. So that's really handy. But it would be nice to have someone maybe in the future that if we had like a secondary place for them to live, or even like an RV hookup or something like that, where they could just stay, feed the animals, do stuff like that. So that would be awesome. So yeah, maybe in the future. Here we just don't have a space for them to stay, and there's like nowhere to rent around here. So
this is a good question from Sylvia that I've actually thought about a few times lately. Says, just curious why height of a Mustang is important if you guys are rehoming it and not keeping it. And that's a super valid question. If you're not riding it, it definitely doesn't matter. Because some people would love to have a shorter Mustang than we like. And but if we're riding it, like going back to the weight thing, it would be nice. Like Alyssa's 6 foot tall, I'm 6 foot tall. So if we're actually going to train it to ride, it can't be too little for us.
Because training it, I don't want to ride too small of a horse. Even if I'm only going to ride it for a year or two or whatever it ends up being, I just don't want to ride too small of a horse. So that's why height is important for us too, even though we're going to rehome it.
Yes. I just noticed I'm way behind on these. I got scrolled up and I didn't see. Oh, how did I propose before we get too far from that? So
he was real awkward. I knew it was coming.
Something weird was about to happen. No, so we were, speaking of Wyoming, we were going through Jackson, Wyoming, and we love elk and we love the mountains around Jackson. And it was winter time. I don't remember what month, but it was real snowy. And there's a museum that sits above the Jackson Hole Wildlife Elk Refuge thing. And So anyways, the museum was closed, so went up to that parking lot, and it looks out over the elk refuge where there's literally thousands of elk out there.
Yeah.
And that's where I proposed. But I was too nervous to be like very like cool or anything like that. We actually went up there and we like looked at elk, and my palms were like sweating and stuff like that. And so we looked at the elk, and I was like, "Oh gosh, I got to do it! I got to do it!" And we went to get back in the truck, and I don't the way I remember it.
I was like going around the side of the truck, and he just goes, "Wait, I want a hug," and I was like,
"That's awkward.
Like that's weird. What is he doing?" And then I was like, "Oh no, I know what he's doing." Yeah,
things are happening.
Yeah.
She said yes, thankfully, despite the weirdness.
You couldn't tell.
It was a great spot, just not executed very well. Yeah. Let's see. Next question. That's enough of this love story stuff.
I like how everyone's laughing at you.
Yeah, well, classic. In our last video, I mentioned that my dad and brother are cement finishers, so they were probably laughing at us pouring the concrete in those highline poles. And my dad called, and he said they were in fact laughing at us, not because I mixed it too wet, but because apparently the pro move is you got to put water in the wheelbarrow before you dump the concrete in there when you're using quickcrete. Yeah. So the more you know.
Now we know.
They're making fun of me. Okay, what else do we got? I would love to go on a trail ride with y'all. That would be awesome. We get a lot of comments on here from people who say like they always wanted a horse, but they never got one, or maybe they used to have them and don't anymore, or that they hope to in the future. And it would mean the world to us if we could actually get some of the people who have that feeling like out to like experience this way of life. That would be so meaningful and so valuable and just so fulfilling. So that's something that we would love to do in the future. It comes with like some liability and potential for weirdos coming to our property and stuff like that. And so you'd need a little vetting process, but that would be something that we would love to do one day.
Yeah. I don't know if that looks like a retreat or what that would look like, but that's kind of along the lines of what we're thinking. It would obviously, we'd have to have some really nice, safe equines that people could ride, even beginners and stuff like that. So a lot goes into it, but yeah, we've really put some thought into it. And that's something we're considering when we're looking at a like forever property would be, can you do that?
Yeah. It'd be sweet if you could do it on your property. Otherwise, you can maybe get a special use permit from either the BLM or Forest Service to do trail rides.
Yeah, that could be a little tricky. So it'd be great if it could be on the property.
Yep. Someone says, how did you save enough money to have a ranch and so many horses? What did you do to get so far? Good question. Graceful.
So, we'll try not to draw this out, but so we lived in a tiny little apartment, like the cheapest apartment we could find that wasn't totally sketchy. It was still a little sketchy. Our upstairs neighbor was very creepy, but we bought it, we rented a tiny little apartment, and I don't even know how many jobs we had. We sold off everything we didn't use. I was working full-time in a taxidermy studio. Jason was working full-time as a butcher for like the same company. Then after I would get done with my day, I would go over there and help him in the butcher shop. And then also, all of them were tanned, so don't think there was anything gross, but I would like do taxidermy on the side in the evenings and on the weekends to help other taxidermists in our little apartment, which is whatever. So we were working as much as we possibly could. And we paid off $90,000 worth of debt and then saved up some money, and we're able to buy a very, very cheap home that needed a lot of work. And so we put a ton of sweat equity into that, cash flowed all the fix-ups, and then, bought mules and all that with saving our money. But he's had all kinds of jobs. Like he was, TSA and Jackson Hole and just like all kinds of different jobs. And so, and like I got paid piecework at the taxidermy studio. And so I could do as much or as little work as I wanted. And so I just worked all the time. Like didn't really take days off for a while.
It was a season of sacrifice for sure.
It was really tiring.
Someone says, what was your favorite video from the year so far? That's a good question.
Well, I think I'm a little biased because I'm probably like remembering the actual trip rather than the video, but the Wind River trip was really fun. And
watch that video. That was a cool video that Alyssa put together.
Well, I mean, probably my favorite, honestly, is just getting Rooster. even more so than any trips. I was kind of thinking trip wise, but getting rooster for sure, because that's been like a goal of mine forever, and we finally just made it happen. It ended up probably not being the best year to get a Mustang just because we were very busy, but it worked and we did it. So,
thankful we did it.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
The clever cowgirl, hey CC, we think about you a lot. Says, do either of you have your guide license? Is that something you would be interested in if the opportunity came up?
We have both thought about that. No, we don't have our guide license. I was thinking about guiding for the taxidermy shops. I was owned by a ranch, and they did guided hunts. And so there for a little while, I was thinking maybe of doing that. I'm kind of glad I didn't. But the short answer is no, because we really like hunting, and that's like the busiest time of year for you if you're a guide. And we just really enjoy hunting ourselves. So
it's like sacred time, kind of, without being too like woo woo. We like to go with my family and stuff.
Take vacations to anywhere. That's like our vacation is our hunting trips. So but we have thought about it.
So someone on here, I just wanted to say I feel for them. They got, I think they said, their first horse this year, and the seller wasn't honest, and they had a health issue and they had to put it down. Yeah, so to that person, I lost the name on here, but man, I'm sorry. That is like really disappointing, especially if it was your first equine. It will get better from here for sure. But I'm sorry you had to go through that. We had to put down horse. Was that last year? I don't even remember. This year's been a whirlwind.
If you guys have been around for a long time, you've seen Timber.
Still miss her.
Yeah, bought her as a 1.5-year-old. She was a long yearling and she had wobblers, and we didn't know it hadn't progressed at that point. And we noticed things like kind of getting weirder and weirder with her, and ran every test imaginable, like genetic tests and like EPM and limes and like all that stuff to try to figure out what it was. And it ended up being wobblers. And so we put her down. I'm sure the seller didn't know on that, but we've been definitely burnt by sellers.
Yeah.
So it happens even when you know what you're looking for. It still can happen. People have a lot of tricks up their sleeve to be dishonest, unfortunately.
Yeah. Losing a pet is like, I don't know. I don't want to over dramatize it, but it's really hard. And the only thing that makes it better is just time going by.
Yeah.
And then it transitions into like, you can think more about the pleasant memories that you had with them. So,
yeah.
All right. What's another question? I don't think I have any on here. So, what do you got on there, babe?
I don't know if I have any more.
One thing I learned checking out. Someone says, one thing I learned on checking out property, water is most important, and always taste the water. How deep is the well and how much water does it put out?
Yes.
That's a good point.
Yeah, we'll fill you guys in on the property we looked at, but water is a big topic on that property.
Oh, here's a common question. So I took notes on my phone. Favorite place that we've ridden? What's one of your favorite places that we've ridden in the last couple of years?
Why do you have to? He always puts me on the spot.
I'll say mine first. Go ahead.
Our Red Rock ride that we did with Ty Evans in October is really fun. So I'm actually editing that video right now. So we'll have the first day coming out Wednesday, and then the second day of that trip coming out Saturday. And that was really cool. Like that was like slick rock. I've never ridden mules on slick rock, but like lots of people do. And it is amazing to ride mules on slick rock, like without shoes on. Even though it's called slick rock, it's not slick, which is nice. It's like sandstone, at least not when it's dry. But just like feeling your mules just pick their way through all that crazy rocky terrain was so cool. It was really fun.
It was. That was a highlight for me for sure of this whole year. I honestly enjoyed that probably more even than going into the Wyoming wilderness, because it was like my mule Riata with no shoes on, just like picking her way down those little bluffs and stuff was really a cool feeling. So
Clyde's a little bit uncoordinated, even like for a mule. He's still pretty coordinated, but for a mule, he's not the most like sure-footed thing. And but Riata's like a little mountain goat. Mm-hmm. She just is like through the rocks. It's really fun to watch her. Clyde's a little more hesitant, and I think that's his biggest thing is he kind of wants to stall out, and then he starts slipping and scares himself. So
so let's see. Oh, I didn't answer the question yet. So My favorite one that always stands out to me is we went to Custer State Park a couple years ago, and it was absolutely awesome. There's bison there, and it's just really cool horse country. They encourage you to go off the trails. They're like, yeah, horses are allowed anywhere. It's a huge state park, and just massive amounts of public land. And they're like, yeah, like go off the trails, like go explore. And we went out and we found some bison. We got some really cool shots of the bison, and it was a really fun, memorable trip.
We did a ride that was, I don't remember how many miles it was supposed to be. I think it ended up being right around 16. Excuse me. And it was like crazy thunderstorm. We ended up going up, if you guys know the French Creek Trail, and you have to ride like, I don't know how many creek crossings, 36 or something like that. I don't know, it was a lot. And so it was like pretty high, and then it started to end up being a thunderstorm. We had like rode up on top, and anyway, there was like lightning hitting the ridges around us, and so we like dove off down this ravine, and we couldn't go around the way we wanted, so it was way longer. We had this like buffalo stampeding by us. The video does not do it justice, like cows and calves mostly, and they were like coming straight for us. Our mules did so good. And so anyway, then there's like traffic and more like bison running around, and then we ended up having to like ride through these two bulls. Thankfully they didn't like care that we were there, but we're like, well, that was more than we bargained for. But it was really fun, and our mules did great, so we were really proud of them because that was a lot for them.
Yes, that was a cool trip.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Someone named Rooster Wrangler. First off, great name. Says, how is Rooster doing?
He's doing good. He's back in with a few of them. So we have Taz and Josie split off so that they could just eat all they can possibly eat. And then Rooster is in with Riata, Clyde, and Mesa. So he's doing good.
Someone says they lived in Jackson when they were little. That is awesome.
Yeah, it's changed a lot, I'm sure, since you were there when you were little.
Let's see. So it says they must be a little behind. Too many people rehearse proposals. Authenticity rules. Well, it was authentically really nerve-wracking. All right, let's see. I don't think. Let's see. If you guys have a question, jump on and ask it, because I think we're out. Oh, that's a good question. Thank you for saving us, Seahorse Guitar. How many goals or plans you can share for the new year?
We always have lots. We're very goal oriented, so we always have a lot. But definitely trying to get a bigger property. That is a huge goal of ours. And then I don't know. I mean, a lot is depending on that, but
a lot of that's kind of like, it feels like we're at a bottleneck right now. We've been super blessed with a ton of growth, and it feels like if we had a little more space, we could really take a big step towards accomplishing our goals and dreams and stuff like that. So that feels like the bottleneck. So that's the biggest one. So that's kind of it. And actually another goal, this kind of goes outside of horsemanship, but another goal is, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but make sure we're taking time to take care of ourselves and like do things that are enriching to our lives in the midst of trying to grow this channel and get to work with Ty and TS Mules. It's like almost too much good stuff, like, because it's all awesome. Like getting to work with Ty is a huge blessing. The growth on this channel is a huge blessing. But at the same time, we do need to take some time to enjoy just the things that fill our cup, for sure. So super good question. Someone says, is there a house on the land that we just looked at?
There is. It's very small, but that works good for us.
It's perfect.
Yep.
Small house, big land.
Yep.
Nice. Cece says, are you guys going to clinics with Ty next year?
Yes.
Lots of them. We actually get to start, I think, in maybe late February. We get to go to Arizona, which will be great. Nice. As long as we can get our trailer out of Idaho, we'll be sitting pretty in Arizona. So so we'll be running around the West with Ty, maybe even fly back east to go to some clinics with Ty. So that's going to be awesome. The nice thing is we really enjoy Ty Evans. And it feels like our channel's kind of been an advertisement for him lately. And that's because we sincerely love Ty, the community he's built, and his family. they're amazing people. His horsemanship is awesome. And it's like, we sincerely just really like them, and we want them to have a very successful business. And we feel fortunate to be tied in with that community.
Yeah. Yeah. We've been going to Ty's clinics and like joining his online video library and stuff for years before we ever worked for him. So I think that's probably part of the reason why it ended up working out so well. But yeah, like he's helped us a ton.
Yeah. This one's been asked twice, and I forgot it last time. Do you ever draw your horses or do any artwork of some sort?
Oh man,
Not me.
I have always been an artist my whole life. Probably don't know that about me on this channel because I haven't had time to paint or draw. But yeah, used to be a huge passion of mine, and I wanted to be an artist. I was told by many people that artists don't make any money. Whether or not that's true, I think some artists definitely make some money. But yeah, that kind of, I don't know, got pushed aside. And I always think about like, oh, it'd be so fun to start painting again. So yeah, maybe after I've wrapped up one of the 3 jobs, then maybe I'll have a little time to paint. That's really fun.
That's one of those things that is a cup filler for Alyssa that has just been brushed way under the rug for years now. Yeah. So Sonia says, I started volunteering at our local horse rescue, hoping to get my own horse to ride and train sooner than later. Awesome. But having fun being around the equines. Any tips for catching naughty little ponies? We need to make a video on this because it's actually something that a lot of people struggle with, and it's pretty common. So do you have any tips? I know I kind of do.
Well, yeah, there's a couple different ways to do that. Not to advertise for Ty, but he does have an online video library, and there are some really good videos of that on his online video library. I always am a little hesitant to give like horse training advice because I don't think of myself as a professional. But yeah, I mean, one thing you can do is don't like make them run, but just have them move away from you as soon as they turn and face you. It's very similar to what I was doing with Rooster, like at the very, very beginning. If you go back and watch like the first 4 days, that can be applied to horses that are hard to catch. And so you're just building that draw to come to you. That's being with you is the easy thing. Being away from you is the hard thing. So yeah, that usually works. Sometimes it can take a really, really long time the first few times though, but usually makes it better in the long run.
I was reading comments, so you might have already said this, but Riata was super hard to catch when we first got her. And one of the biggest...
That was different, though. I will say, like she said, naughty little pony. It sounds like it's probably being, like, oh, you can't catch me. Riata was like terrified. So
yeah, but if you have one that's scared, what worked really well with Riata, for one, you have to kind of have your angles right. You don't want to be pushing them from behind. But also when you get up to that shoulder where you would put a halter on, it can be really helpful to just pet them and then walk away. And you might have already said that, but and they're like, wait, what? You're not just going to catch me and put me to work. You're actually paying attention to my emotions, and that can go a long ways. So yeah, good question.
Yeah, for Riata, that was like mind blowing to her because she'd always just had people once they got up to her. Usually they had a roper, they said, but once she got up to her, they would just stuff the halter on and like go do whatever. And so to just walk up to her with a halter in your hand and like pet her and then walk away and be like, no, actually everything's fine, or put the halter on and then take it off and walk away. She was just like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
So it was kind of cool to see that.
It was. This is a good question. Actually, first off, someone says, are you like us? Road trips make the best meetings? Yes. We love to go on road trips in the morning with some good coffee, Cafe Mule. And dream and set goals and plan and just like think about the future. And I don't know. Yeah, basically dream is the best way to say it. That is really fun, especially if you're going to like a fun destination, to just sit together and talk about what you want the future to look like. I don't know. We're not to the end of our journey yet, but I think it's helpful and also just really fun. So yeah, that's a great point. Let's see. How do you feel about Mustang sure-footedness and mule sure-footedness comparison? That's a good question, Craig.
I mean, it all depends on the individual, but I think Mustangs are closer to mules. I think for us, kind of moving forward, we've said this a few times, and we ended up with Taz because he was kind of a special deal. And anyway, that just ended up kind of being like, here's a horse. But from now on, I think for our own personal horses, which Taz will probably find a new home eventually.
Not for a while.
But not for a while. Yeah, he has some things we need to work through for sure, which is why he ended up here. But I think for us, we'll probably only get Mustangs and Mules for our own mountain animals, just because they seem to be really sure-footed and hardy, and we really like them. So
yeah. Yeah, we'll learn more about the Mustang sure-footedness. One nice thing I noticed riding Taz the other day when we went up and found that fault line is a lot of Mustangs don't need shoes and a lot of mules don't need shoes. Yeah. And if you're in like granite rocky country like we have here, or that slick rock that we are going to show in the video this week, it's really nice to have something that doesn't have shoes on, because you just end up sliding around with your shoes, and their hooves, they're just way more like tacky and like almost sandpapery, and they grab onto the rock so much better. So some mules need shoes, some Mustangs need shoes, but in general, it's more likely that they can go barefoot than a domestic. Next question. Let's see. Someone wants to see some of your art.
Okay, let's see from there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll snap some pictures and post.
Oh, that's great. Eventually. Yeah. Hey Ginger. Hey Ginger. This person, Hey Ginger, is always leaving nice comments, and their name is actually Hey Ginger. So hey Ginger. Let's see. I got sidetracked. Have you ever ridden your horses, mules in the Cheyenne Frontier Day or Christmas parades? That would be fun to do a parade with.
No, I've done parade, not Christmas parades, but I've done parades.
Any parade would be fun.
When I was a kid.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Not for a long time.
Traveling with Ty, our mules are getting used to a lot of hoopla, so like maybe we could do that one day. I don't know what parade we would do. Are you saying the Cheyenne Frontier Days has a good parade? Because that would be awesome.
That'd be awesome.
We
just need to make it to the rodeo, period.
Yeah, that'd be a good start.
Yeah.
Would you and Clever Cowgirl come to Michigan and ride the beaches? Oh yeah, I think you might have mentioned the beaches before.
She's still on here. You want to go to Michigan?
Yeah, meet us in Michigan, Cece. I don't know. I've never been to Michigan. Honestly, never thought much about it, to tell the truth. People always ask us, like, or me, if I like to travel or whatever, and I'm always like, not really. Like, I just like in the Intermountain West is like, I could spend my whole life exploring basically like from down in New Mexico, Arizona, up to Canada, just on this like Rocky Mountain front. And I would just be as content as could be. And maybe there's not like a lot of like breadth in that, but it's like, that's my country and I love it. And I would be fine here. That being said, I'm sure the Michigan beaches are beautiful. And it would be fun to like branch out sometime, but just never thought much about it.
Yeah.
Merry Christmas, Cray. Let's see. Cool couple. Thank you. All right, I need to find a question here. You guys, is this fun watching me just read through all the comments over here that you can't see? This is riveting video.
Yeah.
Cece says they're the same. It's hard to get me on the eastern side of the Rockies anymore.
Yeah.
Why would you leave? It's like, we love it here.
Yeah.
Someone says, love riding the beaches. I think that's a lot of people's like on their bucket list. People who want to ride, they want to ride on the beach. I think that's definitely a thing for sure.
Yeah.
So
someone asked how old Clyde and Riata are. Clyde just turned 8 in June, and we don't know their birthday for sure. But Riata, we just say hers is when we got her, and so she just turned 9 this last summer. So they'll be turning 9 and 10 this coming year.
Right in their prime.
Yep.
I smell smoke, but I think it's just our wood stove. Do you want to open that real quick?
Yeah.
Let it rip. All right, I'm going to the phone for frequently asked questions. So one that we get is favorite singer. Alyssa doesn't like doing favorites because she feels like there's a lot of pressure.
And it just depends on what I'm doing. Am I going to the gym? Am I out? Well, I don't really listen to music when I'm out riding. Am I just going for a drive? It just depends. But I really like Dave Stamey, Ian Tyson, Brown Hill. Those are all really good. I also like Shane Smith and the Saints in a band called Kaleo if I'm working out. Those are like more
getting jacked up.
Yeah.
I was reading the comments again. This is hard to do. I don't know how people do this. Listen and read the little live thing at the same time. But definitely Ian Tyson, Dave Stamey, Bren Hill. If you had to ask, like, oh, Larry says Ledoux. That is a good one also.
Yeah.
Chris Ledoux is a good one.
That was like high school. That's all I listened to.
But yeah, my top three are Ian Tyson, Dave Stamey, and Bren Hill. And Bren Hill, we got to see him live at the Ty Evans Mule week
awesome.
last year, and he's coming again this year, and that was a highlight for me. So
that was awesome.
That was a bucket list one. Oh, and last year Dave Stamey and Bren Hill shared the stage together at Bryce Canyon Mule Days. I didn't go to it because Alyssa wasn't there, and I didn't want to my first time to see Dave Stamey and Bren Hill be without Alyssa. Larry says, I'm getting old and I'm still dreaming. Life's hard, but it's easier together. God bless you too. Thank you, Larry. And I want to say a special thank you to Larry because he actually emailed us a property listing. Let's talk about property. He took the time to email us a listing that wasn't on Zillow, and it was like really close to being absolutely perfect. So that meant the world to us, Larry. Thank you for sending that over. Because like, I don't know. We just appreciate you taking the time to do that. That meant a lot to us. And it was like, oh man, like that was exciting. Like it was a close one. Yeah. So let's see what else we got. For as much as I love horses and Western lifestyle, I do not enjoy country music. I know I'm a heretic. Hey, that's all right.
We don't enjoy like just radio, country music. So kind of the same.
Little Luke Bryan, Shake It For Me. You don't like that?
I mean,
to each their own.
I just would rather listen to Dave Stamey. But you know,
you can ride river beaches on your side of the Rockies. That's true, Lost Tribe. We like riding the rivers, and then one of our favorite things to do is going to high country lakes. We have a lot of those here in this area, and
I'll be right back.
That is. Oh no, you're leaving me alone with all the people. Now I'm scared. We like going up to the high country lakes and fishing, and what we're planning to do now that we have a good like string and we can actually pack is take our Roman home wall tent and like probably 4 equines and go up to one of those lakes and just kind of like live off the land, camp, and cook some fish over the fire and just hang out up in the high country. So that is going to be awesome, and that's coming this summer. So that's another back to like goals for the year. Do some little mini pack trips with our string.
Yeah, that'll be really fun.
Yeah.
I've ridden in the Oregon beaches before, and that was fun.
I never have, but
people flying kites are always exciting when you have horses.
Yeah, really exciting for the Riata, probably. Where are you spending Christmas? Actually, I'm glad you asked that, Cray, because we are going to do another live on Christmas for folks that don't have like maybe family to spend Christmas with, or maybe you just like did Christmas like a different day. So we're going to be going live on Christmas. We do get to spend Christmas Eve with my aunt and uncle, which is going to be awesome. We're very thankful we get to spend some family time, but we just saw both of our families fairly recently. And so we're not going to go to Oregon, and they're not going to come here. So we're going to spend Christmas with anyone who wants to join us. We'll do a live. And it sounded like that was a blessing, at least to maybe a couple people when we did it on Thanksgiving. And if it's a blessing to even just a couple people, we are going to do it again since we have the opportunity. Where's a good place to buy an unstarted mule? CC asks.
Well, it depends on how old you want.
That is a good question.
Yeah, there's a couple people that have some really nice mule colts. Trying to think of Black Canyon Bass. I don't know what their company is actually called, but they're on Instagram, Black Canyon Bass, and they have their own Jack now. I haven't heard much about his babies, but they bred to Lake Nowhere, Judah for the last couple of years, and I've heard Judah has some really great babies. West Elk Equine is the one that owns them, and they're in Colorado. But they have really nice mule babies. Their leopard appies are always very expensive, but they have others that aren't as flashy, and I don't think they want as much for those. But I don't know as far as like actual mule colts that are like 2-3 years old.
Isn't it called Rock and C that Ty and Sky get a lot of their babies from?
Rock and O.
Rock and O, that's what it is. Rock and O.
Little cow pony mules. Like if you want a little cow working mule, they're usually on the shorter side. So we just haven't gotten any because a lot of times they're like 14 hands. But they have a bunch of colts every year, and Ty and Sky have a bunch of them. So
here's another good question. What do you look for in a pack saddle? Anything to avoid? Difference in pack saddle for a mule versus a horse?
Well, yes, there is, because the tree is going to be, so a horse's back is going to be more swayed than a mule. To put it in non-correct saddle fitting terms, a mule's back is going to be a lot flatter. So cow pony mule, she says, yeah, that'd be right up your alley.
You can't read and talk at the same time.
But so you still need to get a tree that's going to fit your individual equine. The trees that are wooden, you can actually like grasp down to fit that particular animal. We have from Outfitters Pack Station, we have their is it called their adjustable decker
form fitter? Maybe
form fitter, yes. So we haven't had any problems with it. Some people don't like it, some people love it. We bought it because we have horses and mules. They have built it so that the tree is actually it moves. And anyway, so you can put it on multiple animals.
It's adjustable.
Yeah, it's adjustable. It's like free floating kind of. But it's never made ours sore. We don't pack very far, so
it's nice for people who don't have a ton of money to buy a saddle for each equine. Yeah. It can fit good enough on Rooster, and then it can fit on Josie and Clyde and Riata and so on and so forth. So that form fitter from Outfitter Pack Station is a good option.
Yep.
And they're not that bad. They're a little over $1,000. Yeah. Are mules easier to train than Mustangs?
I think they're very similar, actually. I've heard that from people before. I trained both, and it's true. Like, they both kind of need more time to think about things sometimes. And I feel like if you can get along with a mule, you can get along with a Mustang and vice versa. So,
yep.
Very similar.
Love watching them think things through. It is so cool. And obviously there's exceptions on both sides, but they are thinkers and survivors.
Yeah. And they're good at spotting things way off.
Yeah.
Like 2 miles away, you're like, what are you even looking at? You're like, oh, there's a person walking their dog, and that's what they're staring at. So it's pretty crazy how much they can pick up stuff.
Jane, I would say absolutely not. Your invite doesn't come across as creepy. Like, there's so, like, I do want to say, so the people that watch this channel are the coolest people. Like, we get occasionally some weird comments, but they are so sparse, and we get so many really encouraging, heartfelt comments. I do want to say sometimes we don't really have time to respond to them all, but we do read them all, and they mean the world to us, and we do try to take the time to respond. So, like, the people that watch this channel really do mean a lot to us. As like weird as that sounds, we've never met you, but like, we get the comments and we appreciate them, and we feel like we're getting to know some of you guys, and we really appreciate you.
Yeah.
Have you ever had any close encounters with bears or mountain lions on your mountain rides?
I did when I was a kid. There was a mountain lion up in a tree. We actually rode right underneath and didn't even know it was there until we like made it up around the side of the mountain and then saw it. So that was pretty crazy. It didn't do anything. The horses got like a little bit weird. I think maybe they could smell it a little bit, but so it wasn't like real exciting. And I did have a bear. I was riding bareback on a mare of mine. So I used to rent a cabin like out in the middle of nowhere, and I'd ride her up this Forest Service road on the western side of Oregon. And I like turned to ride up this little ridge, and there was a bear in the brush that I couldn't see because everything's like so tall. It's like salal and ferns and stuff. And it was so close to us. And so my mare spun and tried to like jump a down tree and ended up kind of like getting stuck in the branches because it was like alive, you know, still green branches that had just fallen over in a storm. And I remember that just seeing that bear like running up through the bushes, and my mare was like, we're out of here. So that was exciting for a minute. Yeah. But other than that, no grizzlies, thankfully.
No, that's one downside for us about Wyoming. We talked about Wyoming earlier, is grizzly country.
Yeah.
We like having fun in the mountains, and we feel like the mountains are like a big playground within reason.
Yeah.
And looking over your shoulder doesn't sound as much fun. And some of that country around Cody, Wyoming is absolutely stunning, beautiful country.
Yeah.
But it's crawling with grizzlies.
And actually, when you have stock, most of the time they don't bug you. So that's nice. Like, people are always worried about our horses getting attacked by a grizzly. That doesn't really happen that often.
No, but when you hop off to go pick up elk sheds.
Yeah. Or when you have an elk down and you're packing nice dinner for the bear on your back, that gets really scary.
Yeah. So. Nancy says, where are you going in Arizona? We're going to Boyd Ranch Mule Days. I know that for sure. And then Ty Evans has a couple of clinics. Wickenburg is one.
Prescott,
but the Ty Evans Mule clinics down there, and then Boyd Ranch Mule Days is where we're going. Meg says, do you desensitize your equine to gunshot prior to hunting trips?
Not really.
It'd be ideal if you did, but we haven't yet.
They haven't been too bad. We do have, like, people just come out and shoot around on the public land and stuff like that, and so they hear them quite a bit, and it doesn't really seem to bug them. I wouldn't shoot off of our mules. I would love to actually do mounted shooting. That would be really fun. I just don't think in our little neighborhood, our neighbors would probably appreciate me practicing. So that's the main thing. But yeah, I would love to do that.
All right, we got a training question. What would you do about a Mustang who doesn't stop when you lunge him?
Sorry, I'm trying to read the rest of it.
He's very comfortable around me, comes to me for attention and pets, but gets worked up when I lunge him and doesn't stop. Good question.
Well, the training ones are always a hard one, because the reason I have a hard time is because there's so much that goes into it. Like, you might not realize that you're doing something with your body position, and he could be feeding off of that. Maybe something happened in the past that I don't know about. So it's really hard to give advice, because there's so many little, like, things that could be causing that problem. But I mean, just working on things maybe a little slower. Like, can you just get him to walk a circle around you and work on that, and if he goes faster than that, maybe disengage his hindquarters and do what's called rolling the hinds, and then let him chill for a second and ask again, and just try to see if you can just get him to walk calmly in a circle, and then work from there.
Someone says, what do you guys look for in buying a home as a fixer-upper? That's a good question.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, like, the cheapest home in an expensive neighborhood.
Yeah.
But that doesn't always work out. We look for things that we know that we can fix up. Like, so beautifying the property, or putting in, like, horse facilities. If that's what, most of the time, that's what we're trying to do, is create a property into a horse property, because that's what we enjoy. And also, it seems like other people enjoy that as well. And we've done that enough that we know kind of what works and what doesn't. But yeah, as far as, like, big things on the home, we aren't super great at a lot of those things. So we have to be careful about that. But mostly just property fix-ups, tearing out fence, putting in new fence, reseeding pastures, all that kind of stuff that we can do. Unfortunately, construction is not really our strengths.
I'm no Chip Gaines.
Yeah, we built a hay barn.
I got the goofy personality, but not the construction skills.
It's lasted quite a few 50-mile-an-hour winds, so we must have done something right. But yeah,
that was all her. Cray says, if you fall off your horse or mule, would the animal come back for you after being startled? Good question. Not always.
Yeah, not always.
They might meet you at the trailer.
Keep your cell phone on you.
Yeah. Hey, Ginger says, I work with a pony who's very spicy while lunging. He likes to kick out and protest the job. What's the first thing you would think to do to help him with that behavior?
Man, I mean, I think you got some other things going on too. Like, that's a little bit with Taz. Like, taken out of context, maybe it looks like I was a little hard on Taz when he first came here, but he just ignores you when he's a little bit amped, and he has a bad habit of kicking out when he's nervous. And so that was one thing I wanted to make sure of right away, was like, hey man, when I need you to move your hindquarters, like, you got to move your hindquarters and pay attention, for the safety of everyone involved, and that he can't run me over. So just putting those boundaries in place, like, that just sounds like they're yeah, like you said, just being kind of sassy and spicy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Bryant Dwyer says, would you recommend the Ty Evans Masterclass? None of his clinics are near me. It is a big chunk of money, and there is not much information on his website. That is actually a really good question.
Yeah, and we'll actually take that into consideration and see if we can put some more info about it on his website, because like I already know what it is, so we probably look at it in a different light than you do. Yeah, I think it's definitely worth it. Like he has put so much time and effort into it. There's 40 different lessons. We actually just refilmed a bunch of the snaffle portion of it, and he breaks it down. Like, yes, it's a lot of money, but you get it for a whole year. You can go out there and do stuff. And not only, like, you have a really cool community too. If you end up joining like the Facebook page, it's really awesome. People are so supportive.
Yeah,
you can go on there and ask questions. Ty jumps on and does a call every month, a webinar every month and stuff. So it's pretty awesome. And yeah, it really walks you through it step by step, and it helps a ton.
The nice thing about it, Bryant, is that it breaks it down into really digestible steps. For people like me, like if I have a checklist, I can be like, all right, let's see, this is what I'm working on today. There's videos on there. Then you go out and do it, and you're like, all right, got that done for the day. And it provides some good structure.
And the other thing too is like Ty is really a positive person, and he is all the time. Like not just in his clinics, like he really is. Like he always says it's the best day ever, and like that's his mentality all the time. But that's just like kind of contagious when you're around him, or like around the people that really like have been around Ty a lot. And another big portion of the masterclass is like mindset shifting and just applying it to your entire life. So there's like also things in there like good books to read and stuff like that. Not necessarily like self-help, but kind of, like just building a stronger mindset and a more positive mindset and stuff. And that all goes into it too. So it's really cool.
A couple people just said we should start A&J's Dude Ranch. Sign me up.
That means I can get little fluffy cows on me.
Yeah. And this Dana said, you two should start a riding program for people to get acquainted with horses. You would do so good at that. We would love to do that.
We both volunteered at like, I don't know, just centers where they help like kids that maybe have learning disabilities or physical disabilities and stuff like that. We've really enjoyed that in the past. And so anything like that is really fun for us.
Spirit Therapeutic Riding Center in Ellensburg, Washington. When I was working at the jail, I got to volunteer at Spirit, and it was so refreshing. The lady that runs it, her name is Evelyn, and awesome. It's at her home, and she helps kids with disabilities be able to ride. And to see those kids just light up is like the most fulfilling thing in the world. And they're also empowered by it, and they have something they can like kind of brag to their friends about at school because they rode a 1,000-pound horse. And, it's just the coolest thing ever. So I don't know if you guys want, if you guys want to support a cool cause, Spirit Therapeutic Riding Center is a great one. Ellensburg, Washington. I haven't talked to Evelyn in a long time, but she's an amazing lady and has an amazing program there. Let's see. Oh, someone says, I just got a Mustang about 4 months ago. He's 1 year old. I'm extremely grateful. He isn't scared of much. He's almost 1,000 pounds. Dang. I love seeing your progress. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
That's really cool.
That's awesome.
Let's see. What's the fastest you've ever ridden a horse? You're the barrel racer. For me, Cray, probably about 12 miles an hour. And it was on my mule.
In miles an hour?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever a flat out gallop is. I actually, when I was really young, there was a time where my dad decided he wanted to be a cowboy. Not a horse guy at all. He ended up buying a trailer that came with 3 free horses, which is never a great idea. I remember actually it was like a 14-year-old crazy 14-year-old girl being like, do not do that deal. That's a bad deal. But one of those horses was an off the track thoroughbred. So being a 14-year-old girl, I'm like, oh, let's just see how fast he'll go across the field, not realizing we don't have brakes or turning. And we went really fast and barely stopped when we got to the fence. So that was probably the fastest I've ever been on a horse. He was flying.
Oh, actually, yeah. I got to gallop my horse over in South Dakota once, and it was really scary. I was like, I hope there's not any prairie dog holes, but it was also really fun.
Used to run our horses. So like I grew up in Western Oregon, so there's a bunch of like flat grassy fields. The farmers were probably not happy with us, but we were little kids and didn't know any better. And they would disc the field so they were like perfectly smooth. I mean, it was like hundreds of acres of like perfect arena. And we would just gallop our horses across that as fast as we could go. I mean, you would have like tears coming out of your eyes. That was so fun. I'm sure if they knew it was me, they would be really upset. Hopefully none of them are watching this.
Any advice on getting a ranch job? I'm going to farrier school in Idaho right now. That is a great start.
Yeah.
And I want to work on a ranch after I graduate, but don't know where to start. That is an intimidating process. And you have a huge, good first step by going to farrier school. Congratulations.
You can go on ranchworldads.com. You might already know about that, but you can post one saying you're looking for work. There's also ranches that post that, you know, they're looking to hire. So that might help you. But yeah, I don't know where else to start other than that.
My first ranch job was at the Black Hills Wild Horse Sanctuary, and I got that just by calling them. And I made sure, I would definitely recommend being completely honest about your experience level, because a lot of them, they don't even really need someone who's super punchy. They just need someone who's consistent. So if you're totally honest about what you have done, haven't done, what your skills are, that sets you up for like long-term success, because you can ask for help really easily with jobs that you're not familiar with.
Yeah.
It just opens the door for a really good, successful relationship with the ranch that you're working on. So that's how I did it. I had no experience. I still don't know how to rope, stuff like that. And that was one of my favorite jobs I've ever had. And then that led into another job where I got to lead trail rides over in North Central Washington. And so yeah, I guess make some phone calls. The horseshoeing thing is a huge plus for you. So yeah, I'm excited for you.
And just like network, like if you tell everyone at your horseshoeing school that you're looking for a job, and they might know someone who's hiring too. So
yeah. How did you guys get into helping with equine mule training clinics?
Well, Ty called me and asked if we wanted a job.
It was because of our Instagram and YouTube that we had started building, though.
Yeah, and also like we had been growing our business, and he had been watching us do that over the past couple of years, and we were already students of his, so he knew, like, we knew the way he trained, and that we were fans of the way he trained, and that we understood all of that. So yeah, he saw that and thought we'd be a good fit.
Someone says, did you watch JL horse training on YouTube down in Las Vegas? Is Slick Rock dangerous? No, I haven't watched the Bar JL horse training.
It can be dangerous, but I don't know. You learn how to read the rocks, and your mules do a good job. And if you just let them kind of pick their way down or up, it's pretty impressive. They just pick their way through.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool relationship building thing. A lot of people are like, why are you going up on that rock? You could just go around it. And it's a valid question, but the answer is because it's a really good way to like get together with your equine and to like conquer little challenges together. I think it's really healthy and kind of builds that relationship.
It builds their confidence.
Yeah. When I was a tyke, they used to have live pony merry-go-rounds for kiddie rides. Are there any of these left? I don't know. Sounds amazing though.
But I used to ride those at the fair. I remember.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. That was like the first time I rode a horse, was at a little pony merry-go-round at the fair.
That's funny. All right. I think that is it for questions. And we're 1 hour and 22 minutes in. So
yeah,
I think we'll get ready to wrap this up unless someone pops in with a question here in the next couple seconds. But we want to say thank you to you guys. Thank you guys who are members. I've seen a lot of members pop up in here. That is just a little added support that really means a lot to us. But we appreciate all you guys watching and spending your evening with us. It's wild to us that people care enough to come on here and hang out with us. So thank you guys. And thank you to the person who just said nice beard. I assume they're talking to me.
I hope so.
All right, guys. Have a great night. Thank you all. We really do appreciate you.